Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, it's going to be a little bit more chill. This is my first story time video. So it's a story that I've wanted to share for a while now, just because I kind of realized that as women, we go through a lot of the same things when it comes to men, and we might not all really share our stories, but at the end of the day, these men are out here and they play games, and that's why I really wanted to share so that hopefully, you can learn from my mistakes and maybe pick up some red flags that you might see along the way in your dating life. So let's just get right into the video. So the title of today's video is, if he's nice to you, but he's not nice to the waiter, then he's not nice. This is a saying that I've heard since I was a little girl. And just as I'm coming into my womanhood, I feel a lot more like in the last few years, I'm really understanding the meaning of that statement. And so basically what that statement means is, if he's nice to you, if he wine and dines you, if he's sweet to you, says all the right things, but then the example at hand is if you guys go out to dinner and he's rude to the waiter, he's making slight comments, acting like he's better than the waiter, you get to really see who he is as a person, right? That's what character is. It's not about how you treat the one person that you're into. It's about how you treat everyone else around you. And so the example of a waiter, in my opinion, is perfect, because in that moment at their job, they're there to ask you what you want to drink, what you want to eat. And some people might look down upon that job, which is quite insane, because at the end of the day, we are still all at the same table. Whether you're serving me or whether I'm eating, it doesn't matter. Okay, so my story starts off a few years ago. I am talking to this guy, and in the moment, it really felt like I had met my best friend. It felt like we just got along. Everything was great and amazing. And I was really like, wow, this is a real stand-up man. I might have something here. So we talked for a few months. Things are getting more serious. And the dynamic at this time was very specific, I would say. He was working from a different state and I was here in my state. So it was a little bit long distance for a while. And so we decided, hey, let's take our first trip together. And so we pick a place. The way we did it was we met in the middle and then took the final leg to our destination together. And at this point, everything seems like great. It seems amazing. We hadn't seen each other in a few weeks. We're looking forward to arriving in this nice, beautiful place. And things got a little bit crazy when we got to the hotel. Things already started off bad because the hotel that we booked wasn't the one that we wanted. The one that we wanted was full for that week. So we settled on kind of it was the same hotel chain, but the second best in that area. So things were already starting off a little rocky. We get to the hotel, we go check in, we go upstairs, and we realize that the room, it has these two big windows that look like it leads to a balcony. But then when you unveil the curtains, the windows don't even open. It's literally two big slabs of glass. And we're like, what the fuck? Hold on, we paid all this money for a shitty room like this? Absolutely not. We both decide, we're like, okay, we're gonna take our things, go back downstairs and talk to the front desk person. So we get back down there and we're like, hey, this is not the room that we booked. This is not what we wanted. I wrote down very specifically in the booking, a room with this kind of view and this kind of balcony. There was a slight language barrier. So we had to get the manager to come and, I'm trying to take charge and just talk to the person, say, hey, this is what I asked for. This isn't what we got. This is where things went bad. So my guy is standing right next to me and he starts he's tall, okay, very tall. He starts leaning over the counter to where, the front desk people are, raising his voice. How could you give us this kind of room? There's no view in this room. The windows don't even open, which are all valid concerns, but it's the gesture of leaning over, right? It's the loud, boisterous voice, just taking charge. And I'm having to be that person saying, calm down, let me handle it, calm down. And that same dynamic continued for at least the next 5 minutes. He's like, I want a manager. I want to speak to somebody else. Well, we need a refund. The woman's like, well, we can't give you a refund because you booked a non-refundable room. He's walking back and forth. I want a refund. It was so embarrassing. And it's like, am I in a fucking movie? Like, how is this happening? You know what I mean? How is this fucking happening on our first trip? And I'm seeing this side of you, like just so quickly I'm seeing the side of you. I think they sympathize with me more than anything, because if he was there by himself acting like that, he would have gotten nowhere. And we're in a different country and he's just being loud and just aggressive, you know. It was just so uncalled for. The issue got resolved. They actually moved us to this more like private side of the hotel, a very nice room. I could tell that manager woman felt so just embarrassed, you know. She felt my embarrassment and she's like, well, we'll try to make it right for you. And so they did. And so that was the first time that there was a red flag there. The second time happened in a very similar situation. It's a few months later, we're on another trip, also in another country, and this happens at the tail end of our trip. So we're pulling up to the car rental place, dropping off our car, and getting ready to go to the airport. And we're kind of cutting it close with time. We're rushing a little bit. And so we go to the desk. The woman's helping someone else. Everyone kind of at the desk is busy. And so we're just there waiting. She's like, I'll be with you in a minute. At that same time, right outside the window, there's a van. And this van is supposed to bring us, along with, you know, the other people dropping their cars off, it's supposed to bring us to the airport. And so the woman lets us know at the desk, like, I'm really sorry, but you won't be able to get on this van, but we'll take you in the next van. And so my guy's already getting kind of like agitated, you know, because he's like, well, this van's here, it should be quick, and why can't we go on this van? So the woman apologizes again. She's like, I'm really sorry, but you have to go on the next van because I have to check you out. He's pacing back and forth, you know, he's upset. I'm just taking the woman at face value because people aren't inherently bad, you know. No one's just gonna tell you like, hey, you can't get on this van, you need to wait, just to like single us out, you know, or just to be like a mean, spiteful person. There's a reason why she's telling us that we need to wait. So I'm gonna wait. So we're starting to check out. He takes our bags and our luggage. My guy takes the shit and brings it to the van and starts giving it to the driver to load into the van. The woman at the desk, she's signaling to the driver like, no, no, no. She's like, I already told them. So it's just getting more and more heated, this whole situation. So the driver comes back in with the bags and he's handing them over. My guy starts just yelling and he's just cussing her like, why the fuck is it taking so long? And I'm like, am I in the situation again? Like, am I in the situation again? And she's raising her voice. I'm having to apologize. I'm yelling at him, like, calm down, go sit down, go sit down. Mind you, this guy is a grown ass man. And like, you're doing that to a woman, you know, to a woman who's just literally just trying to help us. I understand she's making the situation a little bit harder, but it's not being done purposefully. As she's doing that, I walk over to him and I tell him like, listen, you need to go apologize to her. Like, that was so uncalled for. You need to apologize before we leave. And here we are again, you know, in a situation. That woman, I could tell she just felt bad for me because she's like, I just, maybe this is in my head, but this is what I think is going on in their head. They're looking at me like, you must deal with this shit all the time. I feel bad for her, you know? So like, let me try to help you guys out. Along those same lines, you know, she was like, listen, I'll get somebody to drive you in one of the cars directly to the airport. Like, you don't have to wait for the next van. We'll get you there. And that's what happened. Again, I'm just looking like, what the fuck, you know? What adds to it more is my guy's attitude about this is like, you know, we're in a different country. People will take advantage of us if we just kind of let them. And it's like, maybe there's some validity to that. You know what I mean? Maybe like, depending on where you go and where you travel to, people will try. Sorry, my camera cut off. But like I was saying, depending on where you go and where you travel to, some people will try to take advantage of you. But like, we're staying in these high-end hotels. Like, we're dealing with shit on a level that like, we're not doing anything sketchy, you know? And of course, like, you should be mindful whenever you're traveling, especially if it's somewhere that you're not familiar with, of people trying to do shady shit around you. But in these specific instances, these people were not doing anything shady. They were not trying to take advantage of us, because if they were, it's not just a come up for them. They're gonna lose their job. They're working in a nice ass hotel. They're working in this nice rental car place. So, you know what I mean? And like there was so many other things that happened on like those trips and other trips we took and just away from vacations. And the reason why I felt compelled to share those stories is because, you know, I don't want other girls or other women out there to feel ashamed of the shit that they went through, you know, in the past and the shit that they kind of put up with. Because there's two ways to look at it, right? In life, you can get advice from people, just kind of see others as an example and say, hey, you know, I've seen my friend or my parents or people that you know go through these kind of things. And then you internalize that and you say, hey, I know I don't want to go through that, so I'm going to avoid these kind of situations. That's one way of learning, right? Another way is going through the shit. It's just literally going through it and coming out on the other end and saying, hey, I know my worth, you know, I know I don't want to ever have to deal with shit like this from a person like this again. And for a while, I would beat myself up. I'm like, listen, like, I'm at an age where I shouldn't be dealing with this kind of shit, you know, to be quite frank. And just dealing with that relationship taught me so much. It really taught me about what I don't want in a person, you know, like what I'm not willing to put up with. And truly at the end of the day, if he's nice to you, but he's not nice to the waiter, he is not nice. Simply, he is not nice. As a woman, we have been blessed with the gift of intuition. Everyone has it, you know, men, women have it, but women, we really have it. And as a woman, you kind of like, we're taught to quiet ourselves, you know, keep your voice low. Don't speak up about this, you know, don't have too much of an opinion. And the problem with that is when you have your intuition, right? I interpret it as like this gut feeling, you know, when you have that feeling in your gut and it's telling you, do this, stand up for yourself, say no to this, you know, don't do it. And when you go against that, you push it back down. You know, you push it back down and it gets quieter and quieter. And then life just kind of becomes, you know, it just goes on. You know, you end up being that kind of person that doesn't stand up for themselves, that doesn't say no, you know, that doesn't put their foot down. And so as a woman, I try to listen to my instinct as much as I can, whatever it is. You know, it could be something as simple as I feel shy in this moment and I want to speak up and say something. It could be a situation like those I was in, you know, and I come back from vacation and I really sit and think like, should that person have done that in that situation? Should they have really been that mean? Instead of ignoring that, I should have listened to it, you know, I should have. I didn't, and that's okay because I've learned from it. But that's just something I really just want to share with anybody watching this is trust your intuition, notice the red flags, and try to be real. You know, just try to be real. It's very hard to separate ourselves especially when we're in love, and even more so when you're in that beginning phase with somebody and everything is it just feels good, you know? I love doing these sit down talking videos. So if you also enjoyed this kind of sit down video, just us here chilling, you can let me know by giving the video a thumbs up. You can let me know in the comments. You can send me a DM on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe. That way you will see me in my next video. I will see you guys soon. Bye.